The We Charity scandal has also colonized journalism. Today I'll tell you which high-profile CTV journalist was married to the We Charity's current chief spin doctor, and neither CTV nor this journalist were ever going to tell you that convenient little fact. Let me start this video with a disclaimer. When I'm reporting on something, I think it's pretty important for you at home to know exactly where I'm coming from. For example, if I'm reporting on an issue of oil and gas, I think it's important that everybody knows that my husband and my entire family basically works in oil and gas. If I'm reporting on the education system in Alberta, I think it's fair for you to know that I still have 2 kids inside of it. Likewise, on agricultural issues, you should know that I live on the family farm. All of us have these biases, right? We all have connections to other things, and I find that my connections to these other things help my journalism on those issues be better and stronger. It informs my journalism. But it's important to be transparent. I think that's fair to the reader and to the viewer. And I definitely believe that family and spouses are off limits if they're not in the public eye, embroiled in national level scandals, or, suckling on the public teat. Yes, friends, today we are still talking about the We Charity scandal. Let me be perfectly clear. I generally don't care about politicians' kids or spouses or their families until such time as they use the power and the connections of their political family members to enrich themselves. Like Justin Trudeau's mom and brother and wife up to their necks in the We Charity scandal, with 2 of them being paid for speeches at We events, and then the wife having all of her expenses reimbursed by We. And then there's Finance Minister, or rather former Finance Minister Bill Morneau's kids, one of them working for We and the other one being promoted by We while Bill Morneau was making decisions about We. Or how Justin Trudeau's Chief of Staff Katie Telford's husband was busy lobbying the government for policy changes that would benefit him directly. Then, yeah, of course, the obvious conflict of interest makes the familial relationship relevant to the public. But even now, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what Bill Morneau's kids' names are, because their names aren't really all that relevant. Now, all of this long-windedness brings me to the unsavory business we have to talk about today. CTV's Power Play is on a 2-month-long summer break, right in the middle of the biggest scandal to hit Justin Trudeau's leadership, but okay. I absolutely cannot stress this enough. I could not, on any normal day, possibly care less about CTV contributor Glen McGregor's private life or the private lives of any politician or journalist. In fact, the less I know about them, the better I feel. But Glen McGregor's ex-wife is the head spin doctor at We Charity, and I bet you didn't know that. Her name is Sheila Page, and this is the 2 of them at an event together in Ottawa. Look at this. From left, Sheila Page, head of storytelling, editorial, and strategic communications for the nonprofit We, with CTV News senior political correspondent Glen McGregor and fellow guest Robin Osgood at Play Food and Wine in the Byward Market on Thursday, February 21st, 2019. Now, it may or may not be a big deal, and I don't know anything, nor do I want to know anything about their relationship post-divorce. Again, I cannot stress how little I want to know about any of this, except insofar as to why McGregor didn't bother to tell readers and viewers this pretty salient fact that his ex-wife and mother of his kids is also neck-deep in trying to polish the We disaster as her day job. Now look at this. McGregor said it was bizarre that Jesse Brown, the independent journalist who initially broke the We scandal story, was asked to testify at the House of Commons about what he had uncovered. McGregor has said other news reports into the We scandal were, quote, pathetic. He's downplayed the conflict of interest between We and the Government of Canada in his tweets, and he's done his best to defend the charity and explain away the sheer amount of money the charity was paid to administer a program that never actually materialized. McGregor also seems to act as the off-the-books communications agent for We, debunking when and how a certain website named for a yet-to-be-announced government program appeared to become registered to We before the program was ever made public. Just look at this. So to the lay reader and reporter, it might look like we registered that domain in 2019, which in turn makes the government's April 22nd I Want to Help announcement look like it was written to conform with a pre-existing we site, but that's not the case. The government comes up with a name for the Canada Student Summer Grants Program and tells we at some point. We then goes to register the matching domain, finds it has already been registered, and agrees to buy it. We acquired the domain on June 2nd, and the Who Is listing shows this. Now, all of this lines up nearly exactly with the We Communications Twitter account, his ex-wife's gig. Look at this. We've seen speculation We charity registered the domain iwanttohelp.org before the CSSG was announced. Brian Lilly, Charity Canada, and Jesse Brown. Here's the receipt showing we acquired the previously registered domain on June 2nd, 2020 at 1:54 p.m. And then clueless people like Dan Harris of the NDP are caught completely unaware, thinking the information about the website registration was released by we and then, quote, discovered by journalists like Glen McGregor. Was it really just discovered? Just Providence, I suppose, and not the ex-wife telling you where to find it. Why not give the information up front about McGregor's close relationship with we and then let the reader decide if it's important, especially since McGregor's been tweeting up a storm in defense of we. He's been complaining that the charity has been utterly destroyed, quote, reduced to ash, without an investigation. Now, I asked Glen McGregor that exact question. Here's a screenshot of the contact email I sent him, asking him to clarify why he hadn't told anybody about this very obvious personal bias. Here's my polite email to his CTV contact link. Hi Glenn, I'm working on a story about the ties between people who work for we and those in media and politics and how those ties have not been disclosed to readers and viewers. Your ex-wife, Sheila Page, is the head of storytelling, editorial, and strategic communications for we. I know that CTV Power Play is on hiatus. However, you are tweeting on the subject of we, and I wanted to give you a chance to have your comments included in the story. What was the reason for not disclosing this relevant fact about your personal relationship to an important communications person at we to the public? Thanks in advance, Glenn. I have a deadline of 5 Mountain Standard Time, August 11th, so a couple weeks ago. And he didn't get back to me. I let the deadline come and go. So I asked again because I'm doing my best to be fair here. And maybe in the interim, McGregor would have done the right thing. But he didn't, which confirms my own biases about the mainstream media, doesn't it? Now, this time I made it extra clear in case I wasn't the first time. I wrote, you are tweeting on the subject, including a few tweets that very closely resemble one sent from the We Communications account about a website registration. I have no interest in your personal life whatsoever and believe everyone is entitled to privacy. But given the size and scope of the we scandal, why have you not disclosed your association to we to the public? Have you disclosed it to your employers at CTV? And what steps, if any, have CTV managers made to ensure there is no obvious conflict? Thanks in advance. My extended deadline is 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, August 18th. So again, a while ago. And of course, I got no response. Friends, there's one more thing though. McGregor's ex-wife, well, she's a former Ottawa media cabal journalist. She used to work for the Ottawa Citizen for many years. She's an award-winning and well-known journalist in the Ottawa bubble, which means they all know who she is and who she was married to and who she works for now. And yet none of them in media have blown the whistle on McGregor for this undivulged conflict. I mean, here's Sheila Page getting a Governor General's Award with McGregor for their work together at the Ottawa Citizen. Everyone knows her. We know that the We charity has infected and colonized Canadian politicians, primarily on the left, but even some on the right. To what extent has this charity also colonized journalism? What else are they hiding? Can you trust any of them? CTV, McGregor's boss, is listed as a national and regional media partner of we. even though we has tried to scrub that information from their website. It's out there, and the internet is forever. The problem is the organizations that should be looking for this information about we and the media, well, they're all on that list too. CTV, Edmonton Journal, Winnipeg Free Press, the Globe and Mail, Bell Media, Ottawa Citizen, The Star, they're all on the list. It's going to be up to us at Rebel News to find out how deep this goes, because we know the journalists are not going to tell on themselves and be honest with their viewers or their readers about their own connections to this charity. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. It's absolutely unbelievable. Either the journalists in this country work for the state broadcaster, are taking money from the federal government to say nice things about Justin Trudeau, or they've been colonized by liberal-linked fake charities. But not us here at Rebel News. We are fiercely independent. But because we are independent, we rely on the support of people like you at home. If you'd like to support our independent journalism, please go to helprebelnews.com.